doing an early 2026 fantasy football draft because it's never too early to do that, especially on DraftKings when $250,000 is on the line. So we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about the David Montgomery trade, how it affects Jahmyr Gibbs, and some other stuff as well. Before we get into everything, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store. As you can see, I am wearing something from the merch store. Once again, is our True Anana Shabbat of Pressure t-shirts. It is the only place where you can get that. I swear I looked. It is a magical word where if you're running for president, you say it and you get elected no matter what else you do. So you can get that shirt as well as everything else at the merch store. We have a 50% off sale right now. Tons of new shirts too. We have a mouse pad. We have playing cards. We have baby bibs. We have blankets. We have other stuff. We're adding more as well. So check this out. Again, 15% off. You can go to Amazon, buy my books. The most recent one is Jerks of the College Years, where I made fun of these wonderful people on the book cover. It is just stories from my college years and a lot of weird people in it. So I think you guys would enjoy it. Also, Safety and a Field Goal, which was my first book. It's a top 5 topic book about the NFL. We just had the combine. I told a story about someone from the combine who's in this book. You'll know the person. I can't say it because I don't want to get sued. But you'll know the person in the story, and it basically involves someone passing out drunk in a cab. It's a person in the NFL that you know. Also, please consider super chat, super stickers. That's the best way to support the show because YouTube ads pay nothing, especially in Q1. It's quite sad. We make nothing here in January, February, and most of March. So please consider doing that. We've had some good super chats in the past few weeks from Cam McNeagle, the boss, Kevin Kovac, of course, Dom. You guys have been so awesome with your contributions. So really appreciate it. All right. We are joined by Kenny from thecapIsFake.com. Kenny, how are you?
I am great. I am great to be back. I am feeling exhausted by being a father and entrepreneur and all around badass. But someone's got to do it. So here I am.
There you are. So we are on our way to start this draft. It starts in about a minute. I have the 12th pick. I did not see you here. Where are you?
Oh, oops.
Where are you?
I entered in. I got into a different. I got into a different draft by accident.
Well, it's not going well. So
I'm still in the waiting room. This is not turned out well. I guess I got put into a different draft than you. I must have hit it too slow. I don't know what happened.
Okay, what draft did you enter? Because it was the $10 one on.
I'm in the $10. I'm the third of 12. The same competition you're in, but I must have been delayed and somehow got entered in the next round other than yours. So, that's great.
Weird. That's weird because
it's never happened to us before.
No, it never happened. It's $10, right? Not $3.
Yep.
Okay. I don't understand what happened because I was waiting for a while. It's not like I don't get it, but
I don't know what I did there. Somehow we got put. Yeah, we've never done this. We've done this a bunch, and we've never run into this problem where we somehow got put into a different draft than you.
Well, let me see if I can enter. If I could do 2 drafts at once. I'm like Fred Flintstone. It could be at Bam Bam's party and the bowling alley at the same time. Let's see, $10, right? You're in the $10 one.
Yep.
Okay. Let me see if I can enter. And 6. Can you refresh and see if it says 6 to 12?
Let me see. It is 8 of 12 now.
8 to 12. Let me reload and see what happens. Okay, it says 9 to 12. I'm confident this is the right one.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to double dip here. It's just gonna be really confusing. But yeah.
I don't know what happened there.
I don't know either because like I was waiting for a couple minutes, so it's not like I entered. I was like the last one in. When I entered, it said 9 to 12, so I assumed you would have time. Okay, I'm going to do this one on my phone, and then concentrate, and then what we'll do. I'll show you guys the results of this draft, but we're gonna do the one that we're in live. Okay, so
we're off to a hearty start, guys.
Yeah.
I literally, I don't know if I hit the. I don't know what I did. I literally have no idea how we ended up in a different draft room.
I don't know. I have no idea. But he's as you can see on the screen, I'm 12 right now, and I'll stay on the screen until our draft starts. You're gonna have to tell me when our draft starts. So I guess I can switch here, but so I have to make these picks here in a couple of selections. James Cook goes. 2 running backs I like are still available. We'll see if Beaton takes those players, and he took one of them. He took HN, so I will have to pivot and go elsewhere. So let's see here. I'm still going to take 2 running backs. Actually, he's from the same division. I'm going to take Ashton Genty, and I'm going to take Omarion Hampton. I figured the Chargers will improve their offensive line. I figured the Raiders will improve their offensive line. It could be worse. I actually really like the Chargers this year to make a potential playoff run. What do you think about those picks?
Yeah, I like the Chargers a lot this year going into 2026. I'm actually kind of bummed that they hired McDaniel because I think I was already high on them. I like what we saw from them toward the end of the year. Mm-hmm. And I just assume they're going to make some adjustments in free agency. So it's a bummer because I feel like they have some guys coming back from injury. I've never used the word unhealth before. I don't know how they get that. But then they hired McDaniel, and I think it's going to cause a lot of people to be on them, which I think could potentially drive the value or drive the price of those players up. But Hampton's still a good player there. I have him as the top 10, top 15 player going into 2026. By the way, we have our draft is in the waiting room now. We have 35 minutes, 35 seconds. So
okay, where are you? I'm 7th, and you are 10th. Okay,
yeah. So you've got 2 drafts going now.
I know. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna handle one on the phone, and then when that's done, I will show it to you. But we will do this live on the screen here. I think that's the best way. I don't want to keep switching back and forth. I feel like people might get confused by that. Pat says, Walt, I plan on publishing my own book on all the Substacks I've been doing and regime changes. Any advice for book writing? That's awesome. Well, I've self-published before. If you wanted to get with a literary agent, then you could just ask me if you want to do that. I have some advice for that. I mean, it might not be great advice because I wasn't able to do it, but it's definitely a different sort of genre where every literary agent I met was like, well, we don't know if there's a market for this. So as far as self-publishing, just to start writing, and you'll eventually get there. But as far as editing is concerned, what I did was I reread my entire book. I reread my entire book, and if I found one error, then I would just I'd fix all the mistakes, and then I'd start again, and I would just keep doing it, going, and I'd read it out loud too, just because if you're skimming it, or if you're just reading just without saying words, then you might skip over something and may not see it. But if you read out loud and you keep doing it until you find there's no errors, I think that's the best way. Usually it takes me 8 or 9 read-throughs to do it. And then once you're done all that, there's a site. Once you get that far, I can tell you a site where you actually there are several book designers that actually compete to be your book designer, the cover designer. So it's actually pretty cool. Like people sign up for it and they compete for it, and you pick the winner. That's how it went down. I thought it was awesome when we did that last time. I definitely do that, and then you have to submit the pagination after that, which is basically where I'm sorry, I have to pick here. Do we roll the dice to Jonathan Taylor again? I think he might decline now. We'll see. I still love HN. You know what? I like some of the running backs there. We're going to take Amon-Ra St. Brown because I love the Lions this year. I think they have such an easy schedule. I've been taking Lions aggressively, and we'll get into Gibbs in a second. But to finish the Patrick, you have to submit to pagination to make sure all the pages are correct, because like Amazon will not sell your book if like the pages and stuff like that, there's no table of contents and the pages are wrong. Like they'll just flag your book and they won't sell it. So definitely you'll have to do that. And again, like I'll be able to tell you the company that I used. And they're pretty cheap. It's like $80 or something. The cover is more expensive. The cover art and the back and stuff like that. And the tricky part is you have to make sure that all the art fits the book, and like the spine, like all the text, it looks good on the spine. There's a lot to it. So that's like $400 or $500. Like the cover, that's the most expensive part. Everything else is pretty cheap. So anyway, I'm actually picking in the other draft right now.
Nice.
No, this is a disaster. Okay, I'm up. I'm up now. I'm gonna be up in one pick, so let's see what happens. I don't even know who was taken. HN, and you took HN and Hampton. So I like those picks a lot. Do you want to talk about them as I kind of decide what I'm doing?
Yeah, I mean those are my next two best players on the board. I think you can make, there's a handful of players that I think you can make an argument for in that spot. So I'm not dogmatic, in my rankings at this stage of the game. It's we're in March still, so you can't be too dogmatic about your rankings. But I think those are the next two best players. I expect both of these offenses to be productive. We've seen Achane to be great, even on a terrible team. So, I expect both of these guys to be really good. The question mark, of course, is it smart roster building to go running back? And I just, looking back, I just feel like in DraftKings, it skews so heavy toward receivers in the first few rounds. The first 4 rounds is just so much more heavier toward running backs, and toward receiver. And I just think running backs are slightly devalued, and so I have no problem starting, even in a DraftKings format, being running back heavy on the front end. To me, if Achane had been gone there, if let's say it was if James Cook was on there, like I'd love James Cook, but I'd be fine going with Justin Jefferson over James Cook. So I'm not against going receiver early. To me, I just want the best player available. And in my mind, those two guys are the best player available at the time.
Yeah, I like this picks a lot. I actually have Achane ranked over St. Brown. I mean, the reason I took St. Brown, it's twofold. Well, one is small. I mean, we start 3 receivers here, so it's whatever. But 2, I've drafted a lot of Achane, and so just kind of want a little more variety. Because if I keep taking Achane in the middle of the first round, then I'm going to have so much Achane because I always take him at the end of the first round. So kind of like I did in this draft right here, which I'll put on the screen for a second. Where is it? Yeah. I'm sorry. I was gonna take Achane, but he was that guy took him. So yeah, I would have taken Achane there. I like the pick a lot. Obviously, I can't because I just took him. I took Chase Brown here at 206. Not like in love with this pick, but I expect Cincinnati's offense to be back to what it should be because Joe Burrow was out for most of last year, and when Joe Burrow came back, Chase Brown went nuts. I mean, look at these results toward the end here. 19, 32, 32, 16, 18, 18, 18, 18, 19, 25. It's like ever since like Flacco came back and then Burrow, Chase Brown's been awesome. So I expect more of that coming into this year. What do you think about Chase Brown?
Yeah, I think he's a great player. Obviously, it's hard to know what to do with the Bengals sometimes. Because of Joe Burrow's injuries. Now we've got a pretty strong track record now of Joe Burrow being injured. 4 of the 5 years where he's been the starter have ended either have ended an injury or have had significant injury. And we see this team just not knowing how to build a good roster. And so I do like Chase Brown's a phenomenal player. He's a great talent. I am a little bit concerned about the Bengals, and I feel what's the word I'm looking for? Unsure how to rank them.
Yeah.
Which is annoying. I mean, I love Jahmyr Chase. I think Jahmyr Chase is a guy being worthy of drafted in the first half of the first round, but the rest of the team does make me tweak a little bit, just kind of torque my neck a little bit.
I know. Yeah, and they're letting go of Trey Hendrickson. So you're on the clock, by the way.
Yep. So this is where I'm wrestling through roster building here. Like my best player available is a running back, but do I pass him over for the receiver? And I think to me the gap between Bucky Irving and the next guys, he's just too good of a player. At the bottom of the third round, I just love him as a player. I don't know what to make of the Buccaneers offense. I don't know if they're going to be better or worse. I don't know what to make of Baker Mayfield. I just think Bucky Irving is such a great player. I mean, he was going in the bottom of the first, early second last year. So I feel like we're getting slight value with him at this spot here. But you could argue whether or not it's smart roster construction going 3 running backs at this stage. But I just feel like over the next few rounds, there's a handful of receivers that are all very similar to me. They're all very similar in my idea. So, so here I'm going to go. I got to go receiver here. My next player available, my best player available is still running back. But I'm going to skip running back this time and go to receiver.
Yeah, so I'm fine taking 3 running backs. 4 though kind of gets problematic.
Yeah.
So I don't blame you for skipping out on a running back there. I'm going to take a running back. I'm going to take my 3rd running back. So we both have 3 running backs and receiver.
Yeah. Scatterbo was the next best player on my rankings.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. One concern with Scatterbo, it's not injury related. It's like there's like news out there that the Giants might be looking to add a running back in free agency or the draft, and I'm like, why? You have Cam Scatterbo, Tyron Tracy, like seems like a good running back core. So I don't get it. Maybe it's smoke. So yeah, it didn't really make much sense to me.
Yeah.
And I took Josh Jacobs at 307. He was going like late 2nd round last year, so pretty decent value, I think. We're getting that. What do you think about Josh Jacobs? I know you liked him in the past.
I love him. I mean, I think he's a great player. I have Bucky Irving ranked slightly ahead of him, but I think Jacobs is great. Yeah, I think all these guys are worthy. I actually have Jacobs ahead of Chase Brown. So I think Jacobs is in my mind should be a late 2nd round type pick, and his ADP is I think 30. So 30th overall, I think this has been his ADP. So I've ended up him. I think I've done 11 best ball drafts now total. I've ended up with him several times.
Yeah, I tend to get him in the middle of the 3rd round. It's pretty good. All right, so I wanted to ask you with the Dave Montgomery trade. Well, first of all, what do you think about the Dave Montgomery trade? It was a 4th round pick, a 7th round pick, and a backup lineman, Juice Scruggs, who's really not that good. How do you feel both teams did in that trade?
I mean, the running back position has just been so devalued in the NFL. It's hard to recoup any value for running backs on the trade market. So, and so it's like it feels like the Lions didn't get a whole bunch for him, but the reality is like that's about as good as you're going to get for running backs. Like it's just not real. I am surprised because the Lions really did seem to love the two running back punch, the 2 different styles, the packages. They ran a lot of packages where they had both on the field, where one served as a kind of a distraction, not a distraction. What's the word I'm looking for? There's a different English word of distraction. Anyway, one guy's drawing attention. What was that?
We're not scholars here. It's okay.
Yeah. But you're on the clock. Yeah. So I guess I'm surprised. The Lions seem to really like David Montgomery, and he was really successful there. So I'm surprised they made that move. Maybe for them they just have decided they're going to kind of rework their offense. And Gibbs was already a top 5 pick. Already a top 4 pick in my book. This makes him a top 2 pick pretty easily, right? It's at this point going into the year, it's in most formats, it's going to be Bijan or Gibbs, I would imagine. And so, okay, I got a handful of receivers at the top of my list right now, and so I'm going to go with. Let me see which one I want to go with. We don't know bye weeks yet, so that makes.
Yeah, no one knows that, so it's not like you're the only one with the disadvantage,
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with the Dunze here and project that he's gonna make a big jump. So I got a handful of receivers here that I think I've got ranked all equally. Dunze along with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys. I've got 5 guys in this tier that I think are all equal. Adunze is the kind of the youngest with the potential, or the highest potential of the others, but probably has the lower floor of the others. And so I like the way this team is shaped up in terms of I got high floor guys. I don't think I have any risky guys in my mind, and so I'm willing to take a little bit of a risk with Adunze here.
Yeah, I would say you don't really have any risk otherwise. Yeah, I like Adunze. I was pretty high on him last year. Took him a bunch and looked great to start the year, and then he kind of faded away. I'm not sure what happened. I know he got hurt a little bit, but we might not see DJ Moore on the team next year. Like, and you're up again, but like DJ Moore might be gone, so that would definitely help him out, and Luther Burton too.
Yeah, I think even if DJ Moore is on the team, I just think Adunze is still the better talent.
Yeah.
I think he's ascending. DJ Moore is a great player. I love him, but I think he's potentially plateaued, obviously, or maybe even declining. And Luther Burton's a good player, but I still think Adunze is way better. So I fully expect Adunze to be the number one receiver in that offense. I fully expect him to be an offensive turn that does a really good job of spreading the ball around. Yeah. But I would imagine Adunze is going to be the number one guy there for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. I didn't like any of the players on the board at running back or receiver. I guess there's Ramondre Stevenson, could have taken him, but already had 3 running backs, and he didn't like stand out to me as like some guy who's an amazing pick there. So I took Drake May. I mean, I really like taking quarterbacks early, but Drake May was so good for me last year in our personal fantasy league, and feels like he should be going earlier. I feel like he should be going like around where Joe Burrow's going, like round 4, round 5. Not that like I would take those guys there, but to me, remember last year when I was like I hate round 4, so round 4 dead zone. To me, like round 6 is the dead zone. I like your Sutton pick, but he and Michael Wilson were like the last guys. I was like, I don't really want anyone else here, So to me, when I do a draft and I'm like, I don't like any of the running backs or receivers, like it's time for a quarterback, I guess.
Yeah.
Begrudgingly.
I'll just begrudgingly take the receiver in the tier I don't like.
Yeah.
Just out of principle, I can't do it.
I know, but my next available receiver is someone who should be there for the ADP in the 7th round. So I don't know. It's I don't like the quarterback this early. I sometimes do it, sometimes don't do it. But I mean, Drake May was so awesome last year. So he could like I feel like I said, he should be going around earlier. I feel like there's at least some value there, at least relatively speaking to the other guys.
And if they add AJ Brown, who knows?
Yeah, you think he goes there?
I don't. There's too much. It's too much smoke. Sometimes when there's like. Sometimes you get the feel of like if there's so much smoke, there's got to be fire. Then there's like so much smoke.
Yeah,
I think decoys. That's correct, Bagley. Decoy was the word I was thinking. My brain is retarded, and so yes, decoy was the word I was looking for, not distraction.
Distraction.
Thank you.
Same starting ladder. You're close enough.
As I've been awake. I woke up at about 5:50 this morning, so it is now 11:30 Eastern.
So Stevenson almost got back to me. That's how I feel like he's going a little late as far as I'm concerned.
I think so too.
Yeah. All right. Well, I am on the clock in 1 pick. We'll see if that receiver comes back to me. He did. So I'm gonna take Mike Evans. I know he's getting up there in age, but when he came back healthy last year, he did well at the end. Now Baker Mayfield was dealing with an injury, but he received like 12, 14, 22. We had some injuries here, but like 10, 13, 10. Like he wasn't really very healthy at all last year. But if he stays healthy, I still think that he could have a chance to be productive. And it's not like he's that old. I believe he's 32, so he's not like that old. Seventh round, I think is okay for Mike Evans. What do you think about that? I mean, you're on the clock now, and you took
Yeah, yeah. I think Evans was so productive last year. Obviously, the question mark is I don't know where he's going to end up, and so it's hard for me to rank him there. I think there are a handful of receivers I would prefer above him, but I didn't see any sign of decline from Evans last year, and I do actually also wonder do they end up making a way to keep him on the roster and not let him go? Like I have a suspicion that like maybe they figure out a way to keep him. He signs a 2-year deal for minimal money.
Yeah, I agree. You're up. You're up again. So
yeah. Here to me, it's just there's a player that I love. That feels like he's just getting underdrafted, but I'm just not sure if he's going to make it back to me. And there's still no tight end or quarterback on this spot that I'm excited about. So I got to go Michael Pittman here. I just don't know what to make of this team because I don't know what the quarterback's going to be. I don't know if Alex Pierce is going to be back. This feels hard to know, but to me, Michael Pittman, if there was some stability in this situation, he'd be being drafted, significantly earlier. So I love getting him in this spot of the draft.
Yeah, I've drafted him a few times myself. So I am on the clock, and let's see what pick overall is 90. Okay, I will take Kyle Monangai. Really liked how the Bears ran the ball last year. Monangai was a monster, especially in that Eagles game, which you might remember.
I remember. All right.
that was pretty nuts. But yeah, I thought he was impressive. I think in his second year, he should be able to handle more of the workload. So I think 8th round is a pretty good value for him. I think that there's a chance that he might eclipse DeAndre Swift as the starting running back there. By the way, I just my other draft, Pittman's on the board at 10:01. I just took him. So not sure why he went so late there.
Yeah, he's going. Yeah, I've seen him go in the 9th and 10th a couple times. So even in the 8th feels like I wonder, could I have waited on him? Excuse me. Could I have waited on? But he's the best player on my board. I don't want to, so I'll go with him. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So Pittman. You didn't talk about.
I just wonder, sometimes, I don't know. Do you play the game? Like you play the game of pitching? What was that?
You didn't talk about Jacoby Myers. You want to touch on him?
I didn't hear you. What was that?
You didn't talk about Jacoby Myers.
Oh yeah. I like Jacoby Myers. I mean, yeah. Can you hear me? By the way.
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Oh,
can you hear me?
Okay. I thought maybe my audio wasn't working or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love Jacoby Myers. I think he's grossly underrated. I feel like he's a really good option. I love him at this. I think he can easily be, they've got Travis Hunter, they've got Brian Thomas, but it wouldn't surprise me if Jacoby Myers is there, gets their most targets in the offense next year. I just think he's been underrated his whole career in my mind.
I think it's gonna be the guy I drafted in the 5th round, Parker Washington. I think he look at these targets 12, 9, 10, 10, and then 3, 3, 2, 7, 9, 10. He is playing the Cooper Kupp / Chris Godwin role in Liam Cohen's offense. And from what I heard, I think they're trying to trade Brian Thomas. So that'll help that situation. It sounds like he's not welcome there. It's like they were really disappointed with him, dropped a lot of passes, just like kind of sluggish at times, like a big disappointment. Not really a good fit for that offense. So
I just never understand. Like we see this guy play gangbusters in 1 year. He's a talented player. If your offense is such that you can't figure out how to get him to play well in your offense, there's something wrong with your offense. I don't understand that. He doesn't fit our offense. Well, change your freaking offense. He's a good player.
Well,
your offense is stupid.
He is super talented. Is he
figure out a way to get the super talented player to play well in your offense? That's what your job as a coach is to do. I don't want to hear this nonsense. It doesn't fit my offense. Ooh.
I get it, but when he drops a million passes and costs you games, he cost them the Cincinnati game in week 2. You're up, by the way.
Yeah.
He just was like a turd last year. So I don't know. Is pretty rough scene. I drafted him a bunch, and I saw him, and I was like, this guy sucks this year. I don't know what happened. He was so great his rookie year, and then his second year, just like nothing. Like both Washington and Myers outplayed him. So I don't know. I took Baker Mayfield, a pair of Mike Evans. It feels like in my experience doing these drafts, the quarterbacks kind of like vanish pretty quickly. I was hoping to get Tyler Shuck back to me. He's like my secret quarterback this year. Maybe he's not so secret because he went 9th round. But last year I took Drake May a bunch in the 10th round. I was hoping to get like Tyler Shuck a bunch in like the 10th round as well this year. So if Mayfield actually wasn't there, I would have taken Shuck. You took Bo Nix. What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I don't think he's a great player, but I think he's got a chance to be a decent fantasy option, and pairing him both with Cortland Sutton and with other guys I might like. Here's another receiver option here for me. I'm pretty much done at receiver now for a while, maybe but I love Jalen Coker, man. I watch watching his his tape as I go back and watching Game Pass. Just like, dude, this guy's like a legit, really good receiver. He kind of does everything well. Really, really quick in and out of his breaks. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like Steve Smith. Not the same body type, but kind of similar style.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of Cooper Kupp, like that kind of quick in and out of breaks. I think he's a really good player. Yeah. So we saw Bryce Young take a step forward last year. I think there's a chance that this, Bryce Young, Jalen Coker connection actually turns out to be something decent.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm like down on the Panthers overall this year. I think they take a step back, but I do like Coker as a player. So I think he could be a decent, a decent option here in the 10th round. I'm finished a quarterback now. I took Malik Willis. And so, I think with his rushing upside, like pretty insane, like what he did when he had the chance, like 32 fantasy points against the Ravens. And like these other games, he only didn't really do all that much. Like he just didn't have much time on the field. But we've seen that like when he does get time on the field, then he could be really productive. So I like Willis here. So I'm done a quarterback. Like I said, I feel like they all dry up around round 10, round 11. Feels like this maybe because it's so early. These other fantasy players tend to take quarterbacks too early, and so I find that if I wait, I just don't like any of the quarterbacks I get. And I'm like, you need 3 good quarterbacks in best ball because it's the highest scoring position, and if you only have 2 good ones and like one scrub eye doesn't really start, then you could be really screwed. Like if bye week happens, injury, you get a 0 at the high scoring position, you're just dead. So even like this early, now I wouldn't do this in the May onward drafts once we know the buys. But in some of these early bird drafts, I've actually taken 4 quarterbacks just because like I want to make sure I get points at the position every single week, because like what happens, we don't know the buys. Like what happens if like May and Mayfield have the same buy and Willis gets hurt and I'm going to score 0 on that 1 week. Like that could just like murder me, So it's not like I don't always do it. I just like sometimes do it if I, it's like 19th, 20th round. I've been taking like Kirk Cousins there, like 19th, 20th round, because he's going to start somewhere. So that's kind of what I've been doing.
I mean, I never take a 4th quarterback, but I understand the logic there.
Oh, yeah, I would never do it once we know the buys. I'm just saying that like this early, I think you could make the argument that you should do it, but I will not be doing that in May onward. Let's say that. I like the Quorum pick too. I was considering that. They went one earlier. But yeah, so I was gonna. So the other question I had in regard to the Lions trade. I mean, I guess you answered it. You said Gibbs or Bijan, like one. Like who would you take if you had the number 1 pick right now, between those 2, or maybe someone else?
In most formats, I think I'm still leaning toward Bijan, but I think there's a strong argument to be made for Gibbs, and maybe in the DraftKings format, Gibbs gets a slight nod in my mind. So okay. I've not drafted number 1 overall in any of my drafts yet, so I've not been forced with the decision.
Okay. So, and like it's just a small lean then. You don't really, you don't feel that way.
Yeah, I don't have a strong leaning.
Okay. I would take Gibbs. And before the Montgomery trade, I was taking Gibbs. And a couple of reasons why. One, Montgomery is being phased out of the offense late in the year anyway. So you're up by the way. He was being phased out like last year, and so I really like Gibbs. And second, the schedule is so easy. Now you can say, oh, we don't know how these teams are going to be. We know how some of these teams are going to be that they face. They play the NFC South this year. They play the Cardinals defense. They play the Giants defense. They play the Titans defense. They play the Jets. They play the Dolphins. They have so many easy opponents this year. It's absurd. I've taken the Lions to win the Super Bowl for that reason with a free bet on FanDuel for what it's worth. So I think with the easy schedule plus already the ascension of Gibbs, I thought he was number one, and now like that kind of cements it in my mind. So I would take Gibbs over Bijan personally. I'm up right now. We neither of us have a tight end yet, Kenny. What's going on?
No, I mean that's par for the course here. Funny, I started off with 3 running backs and I have not gone running back ever since.
Well, you don't need to.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah,
There's a couple running backs going late that I just don't understand why they're going so late. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm going to take my first time just because I want to pair May with Henry, but I'm not. I'm one to wait on tight ends as well. I took Casey Concepcion in the 11th round. He's going to be a first-round pick, and I feel like he's. There's a lot of these rookies going way too early, kind of like last year. Remember, we
always.
Yeah, we did a show where like, why are these guys going so early? It makes no sense. But and then on the other the side of the coin, you have guys going like way too late, and like. Concepcion's going to be a first round. I'm pretty confident he's going to be a first round pick, and so you can get like a first round pick in the 11th round. It seems like a good bargain to me. So I'm sorry, I'm just doing my other draft. I had 2 picks in a row, so I had to make 2 decisions anyway. One guy I really wanted and I thought would come back to me, he did not, was Jordan Mason. At 11:09, Aaron Jones got cut, so it's Mason's backfield right now, and I think Minnesota is going to draft a running back, but as of right now, it seems like Mason's job at the moment. So I thought that was a good bargain. You took the 2 guys in the first 2 picks in the 2023 draft, which is pretty cool. But
that's right.
Want to talk about those 2?
Yeah, I just thought. I mean, this is the stage of the draft. I want to get I like the quarterbacks in this range. I probably waited a little bit late. There's a couple guys that I would have liked, in this range. Jordan Love, Cam Ward, Malik Willis are all guys that are kind of in this range. And so, so I feel like, if I don't take these guys, or if I don't take Bryce Young and CJ Stroud in this kind of spot right here, then I'm going to end up with slop at the position. So,
yeah,
I'm you could argue I'm going to end up with slop at tight end, and I'm okay with that.
Oh, there's so many good tight ends late in this draft. It's insane. Like, I don't want to mention them yet, but like I'm ahead in my other draft, obviously because it started earlier. I'm in round 14, and there are like 4 or 5 tight ends. I'm looking at 6 tight ends, 7. I'm like these 8, 9. Like these are all like guys I wouldn't mind starting. Like, and I'm in at the end of 14th round. So, I'm good on waiting tight ends. Like the only reason I took Henry is because I just wanted to pair those 2 together. So
yeah, I think once some of the tight ends like shift around team, like Njoku and Kyle Pitts are going to end up in Dallas Goedert. They're all going to end up on different teams. I think that will dramatically change how people view tight end. I think we're gonna, I think we're going to see that the tight end position sort of. There's Kamara. That's one of the guys that I thought might make it back to me.
Yeah,
and then Dobbs were before that, and Tyrell and Tracy. Those are all guys that. So it's kind of funny, but you mentioned Aaron Jones getting cut. I'm not a believer in Jordan Mason. I don't think he's a very good talent. I think he's just a guy. And so, if the Vikings do not address that spot, then obviously he's going to have a lot of opportunity. But I can't imagine they don't draft someone. And I'm surprised they cut Aaron Jones because I thought he was actually still had some juice in him. But I would imagine it's just the injuries. They just they don't want to pay this guy a bunch of cash who's just so injury prone. So I'd be interested to see where Aaron Jones lands because I got a little bit of confidence in him going forward. I think he still had it last year. I think he still looked good when he was healthy. The health, of course, is a big question mark.
But Kenny, they had to get under the salary cap, right?
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's what I heard.
It's this thing called the salary cap that apparently exists when the owner is cheap.
Some people believe in the salary cap. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Do I go with a tight end here, or do I just say screw it? Who cares about what tight ends are? No, actually, he's actually. I'm going to go Aaron Jones here. It's probably a little too early for a guy who just got cut because we don't know where he's going to end up. But here's the other guy I was considering was Emmett Johnson. So he just went. That's funny. I should have gotten Emmett Johnson because Aaron Jones probably would have still lasted to me. So that's all right.
Any insight on Emmett Johnson?
No, it just seems like everything I've read about him. A lot of teams are like, oh, he's going to be a late second round pick, is what it seems like.
Yeah.
Running backs that have decent college careers that get drafted in the second round end up, they end up being decent in the NFL.
You're up again.
All right, so here I got to go with one of my boys, one of my flyer picks for this year, who I love. He pairs with my quarterback, Bo Nix. I love Franklin going into this year. I really like what I saw from him last year. I thought he was Broncos' best receiver the last few weeks of the regular season and the playoffs. Sutton is still the overall best option there, but Franklin had some really good moments, and there are moments where Pat Bryant looked like he was kind of usurping him or going back above him, but I think Franklin's still a guy there.
Yeah. I like Franklin. And I took Brandon Ayuk earlier. Feels like he's going to come back this year and do stuff. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
So let's see what 3, 4, 5. Running out of time here. I'm just going to start Theo Johnson in case I can't take anyone. Yeah, I ran out of time. Let's take okay. Damn, I saw the guy at the last second I wanted. This is the problem with with doing two drafts at the same time. I can't like pre select who I want. I like off screen. I have to like do it on a whim, and I was like, I at the last second I saw a guy I wanted, and like it just didn't have time. So I just started Theo Johnson just in case. I don't want to end up with like an injured player. Which I don't mind. Theo Johnson is a good tight end, athletic guy, and Wan'Dale Robinson's going to be gone. So unless they find a replacement on his level, I think Theo Johnson's going to be targeted more by Jackson Dart. And I'm high on the Giants. Relatively to the past, I'm higher on the Giants this year. I think they can win like 8 or 9 games or something, maybe even 10 games, sneak into the playoffs as a wild card. So yeah, I just think they're going to be better this year. And speaking of Ayuk, like I don't know your thoughts about him, but like, yeah, he missed all last year, but he's going to be gone. He's going to be on a new team, like a new opportunity to do well. 2 years removed from the injury. He's still like relatively young. He's not 30 yet. So I think that he could bounce back. Any thoughts on him? Because he's going 13th round. Like if you get his production again from what we saw in the past, like that's gonna be a steal. But we just
it's obviously too low. Like we as drafters we all overreact, right? There's players like they clearly should be drafted sooner. We just overreact to what we saw lately, and so if Ayuk is even 70% of what he was, and he's in a mediocre offense. He doesn't have to be in a great offense. Just if he's in a mediocre offense and he's 70% of what he was, he should be a 9th round pick, 10th round pick. Like, it's if he ends up being 100% healthy, fully back, and he's on a really good team, we're going to look back and go, okay, why was that guy not drafted way earlier?
Yeah, seriously. Pat Bryant just went. I was looking at him. He's he seemed to be coming on late in the year. Like he seemed to have his better games as the season went on. And second-year receiver, I feel like that he could make a jump. So I like that. I think I would have taken him over Theo Johnson if I had the time to find him, which I did not, sadly. So it's the 15th round. So let's see who's still available. I don't want to like start anyone because like, well, first of all, you're watching. Second of all, like other people might be watching, so it just doesn't make sense to do that.
I don't care who you star. I'm not drafting any of those players.
It's true. By the way, I always had there used to be this guy in our league. He was actually in our league, and I was in some other leagues with him. And he was like during the draft, he would come up to me and be like, "Hey, should I take this guy?" Like, seriously, this is back when we did live drafts. I was like, dude, it's not like life or death, you know. It's just like take the guy if you want him. I don't know.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. All right, so I have 5 receivers. I need another receiver. I'm gonna take Josh Downs, and I'm doing that because Alec Pierce could be gone. If Alec Pierce is gone, fewer options. That helps Pittman. That helps. It's gonna help Downs. It's gonna help Tyler Warren. If I'm not mistaken, Downs had some good performances late in the year. I think 11, 10, 9. Yeah, but that's when Pierce is really coming on. So if Pierce is gone, that should help Downs, assuming that they don't add anyone. So I don't know. It's 15th rounds. It's okay. I'm not like excited about it. You took David Njoku. Is that because he might be going to the Eagles?
No, I just he's a free agent. He's going to be somewhere else. We don't know where he's going to be. I just can't imagine wherever he ends up is got to be a better situation than the Browns. So we've never seen him really break out back on the clock here, but we've never really seen him like I feel like we've had moments within Njoku in his career where we've seen the freak athleticism that everyone loved. But he's never had a season where he put it all together. Mm-hmm. And I just can't help but wonder if he's an actual functional offense, what does it look like? So. And I'm going to go my second tight end here, Dalton Schultz, who I just think is way underrated. Like, Dalton Schultz is like a legitimately good tight end in the NFL, not for fantasy purposes, but for like real NFL purposes. He's a top 12, top 13 tight end, just athleticism and hands. Like, he's a good player. Because of the offense and the situation, he's obviously not been a top 10, top 12 fantasy tight end. But I do wonder, like, hey, if they're like they've already added David Montgomery, they've made some changes to the offensive coaching staff. If they add a legitimate offensive lineman, like, hey, maybe this team takes a big step forward, and Dalton Schultz now is the top 10 tight end. I don't think it would take much for this offense for him to be able to produce top 10 fantasy type numbers.
Yeah, Schultz is one of these good tight ends you could take in the 15th, 14th, 15th, 16th, maybe 17th round. Like, I just looked TJ Hawkinson. This guy has produced 7th round value before. He's coming off a down year because McCarthy was terrible, but they're trying to find a new quarterback. We don't know who that's going to be, but I would be surprised if McCarthy's starting week 1 for them. So they're going to have a better quarterback. And, I think Hawkinson is underrated for that reason. Like 16.6 is insane, I think. Schultz too. Like, Schultz is someone who could produce 11th round value. Like, Njoku, same thing. Parkinson, same thing. Like, these guys are just such great values here at 14, 15, 16 round. That's why I'm like, I would feel terrible taking a tight end early, just because just why do it when you can have 3 decent ones in the draft? Just wait on tight ends, at least right now. Maybe things will change, but I'm comfortable just waiting right now.
100%.
Yeah, and there's still some good ones who are still available too. Like, I can name 3 off the top of my head who are not gone yet and will go in the next couple rounds. And it's like, yeah, they're going to be starters on the team. They're not going to be like top 5 guys at the position, but they're going to be like they're could be contending for the top 10.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, so it's funny, Kirk Cousins went at 1601, but he's still available for me in the 19th round here. So weird that the stuff is different. Terrence Ferguson's one of them. I expect him to make a big jump in year 2. Now he's not as safe as the other guys. Mason Taylor's another one. He's gonna be a starter on the team, 2nd-year player. Lots of upside there. Gunnar Helm is we'll see what happens with Chiggy Bang Bang fee. He's still on the roster, but. So like I said, tons of options here, and just much better than the other guys you can get. Like Calvin Ridley, like he just seems like his corpse is like on the field at this point. Dylan Sampson is just okay. Keon Coleman just went. He just sucks. He was a healthy scratch late last year. Like, he's not going to do much. I do like Trey Harris. I'll say at this point. So. All right, so I need a running back. Okay, well, I'm gonna take Nick Singleton from Penn State.
He was my next star guy.
Oh, was he? Okay. See, I take your star guys. You can't take my star guys.
No, not likely.
Well, Mike Washington. He goes here at 12:05. I was scooping him up like 19th, 20th round before the combine. It's insane. And then he has this great year up, and then he has this great combine, and now he's going like 12th round. It's just so sad. I was like, I wish we hadn't seen that, because he was believe he's third on Charlie Campbell's running back rankings. So I was like, I'd love to get I'd love to get like that 19th or 20th or 12th round value in the 19th round again, but apparently you can't do that anymore. So you took a rookie tight end. What's up with him?
Yeah, Max Clare, who I've never seen play a day in my life, but as I'm reading reports, this guy's going to be a mid to late second round pick, at the latest an early third round pick, so I'm being told. And it seems like several people have said this is a really good tight end class overall, and in a normal year, Claire would be a late first, early second round pick. And being drafted late second, if he gets drafted late second, which means he'll probably be drafted by a good team. I do wonder if I've had multiple people said that he's the kind of guy that the Eagles might like. So drafting late in the second round. If he ends up on a good team late second round, that's that makes for a really good possibility for him to have a breakout rookie year. Although rookie tight ends are not usually a great bet, but if he ends up being drafted in the high third and he goes to a bad team, that's usually that's not ideal. But who knows? I'm back on the clock here. There are some rookie running backs that I thought would have made it back to me at this point, but did not, which is kind of a bummer, but that's all right. So I'm going to go with a guy who I'm a little surprised is everyone's down on, is Isaiah Pacheco. Isaiah Pacheco's still a decent player. He's not amazing, but a year ago he's being drafted in the mid to late rounds. He's being drafted like 6th to 8th round last year. He had the injury. The Chiefs have had a down year. Who knows what's going to happen with Mahomes, but he's still a decent player, and I think he has a chance to be a productive running back. 3 or 4 weeks a year. That's all I need from a running back at this stage in the game.
Yeah, for sure. Wait, where'd this guy go? Is he taken? Crap. I believe he's not taken. Hold on. Oh, I snuck that in there. There we go. Some ninja drafting as we hear some crying in the background. Damon Claiborne. Charlie has him as a second to third round running back. And he's apparently catch passes, which is important in this PPR format. So I've been taking a shot on him. It was like late round. It was like Mike Washington and then Damon Claiborne. But now it's just Claiborne because Mike Washington's going so much earlier, which is a shame. By the way, Cade Otton. Cade Otton's another one, another tight end. I was like, he's a starting tight end on his team in a offense that's at least decent. So I like that pick too. So yeah, it's taking shots on rookies late in this draft. That's what I've been doing because as soon as they're drafted, they're going to get hyped up and they're going to go earlier. You know how it goes for the most part. So, and by the way, I mentioned
Claiborne, by the way, is of all the third day running backs that I've been reading about, Claiborne seems to be the one that has like the most buzz around being a potential guy that can kind of be a productive early running back, productive early in his career. Mm-hmm. Of the guys that are being talked about in the late third through fifth round, right? He's probably a fifth round pick.
Oh, Charlie has him round 2-3 right now. So
that seems higher than most guys do.
Let me make
sure.
That's
what I've seen.
Let me make sure if that's correct. I don't want to give away.
I trust Charlie. He's better than I thought. Then
he has them. Okay, he has them as round 3-4. So maybe he sneaks into day 2. So yeah, I like from what I've seen and from Charlie's evaluation too, I like what I've heard about Claiborne and seen out of Claiborne. So late round is I think it's pretty good for him. So but I just took Emmanuel Wilson the other draft. I didn't like the other rookies. Someone took one of the rookies I was going to take, so I drafted him. And I figure, if Jacobs goes down, why not? Like, late round guy. I mentioned Njoku earlier. I read a report today from Eagles Wire. I believe that's part of USA Today, that the Eagles have interest in David Njoku as a replacement for Dallas Goedert. How do you feel about that?
I guess I don't understand why the Eagles have soured on Dallas Goedert. Like, they seem, they seem to be connected to. Okay, there's a lot of talk they're going to draft a tight end. They're interested in Kyle Pitts. They're interested in David Njoku. They're interested in Isaiah Likely. Like, what? I don't understand. Like, what? Dallas Goedert just had 10 touchdowns. I don't get it. I think Dallas Goedert's a good player. I don't understand why they have soured on him.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I'm not sure I understand that either. But I mean, the fact remains that he's probably going to be gone. So it's about who's going to be replacing him. I think they sign Njoku or someone similar, and then they draft a tight end like second, third, maybe fourth round or something.
Yeah.
So we have some comments here I didn't see earlier. Bryce Lance was drafting twice. Bryce Lance still available. I'll keep banging the drum on the NDSU talent. I mean, I wouldn't draft him in fantasy this year, but because he's probably not going to be starting as a rookie. But there's definitely some potential for him for sure. But yeah, he's probably I would say like day 3 pick. So I mean, maybe there's a chance he starts if the guys ahead of him get hurt or something. We'll see. I mean, Brady Cook started several games this year, so there have been worse players to start. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. I do like the talent though. I wouldn't draft him in fantasy yet. How can a player put a full season together playing for a dysfunctional Browns organization?
That's a very fair point. It's a very fair point.
Yeah, that's certainly true. You're making your final pick here. Jaden Blue was your penultimate pick. So what do we do? 4, 3, 2, 1. Did you time out? LaQuint Allen? Is that who you wanted?
Yeah, for the Jaguars here.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, I'm just taking some shots now on late round talent. Javonte Williams had a really good year with the Cowboys, just signed a 3-year contract. But everything else behind him was slop. And I don't think Javonte Williams was amazing. And so I easily think Jaden Blue, who they drafted, they seem to really like. I think he could take a step forward and be a big part of the offense this year. And the other one is Allen. Several people that I trust say that Allen's a phenomenal talent. And Bashan Tootin has sort of like underachieved. And it looks like my boy, Mr. Etienne, I have to claim him now, I think, based on the fact that he's been my favorite whipping boy. But it looks like they're going to let him test free agency. And so, I think there's a legitimate world where Allen is the number 2 running back in Jacksonville, maybe even more. So obviously, of course, they could always draft someone and that could kill this pick, make it useless. Right. But several guys that I trust have kind of talked about Allen as a good talent that could take a step forward in 2026.
Look, I mean, it's a 20th pick, so if it kills this pick, then like who else is going to be taking here? By the way, we had Lance here. So we have McGowan, Allen, Tua. Like who here is going to be overly productive? Like like if your 20th round pick doesn't hit, then
the other option I was looking at here was Malachi Fields, who was just drafted there. Malachi Fields is slated to be a late second, early third round pick in the draft, as my understanding. Mm-hmm. But what I've read mixed bags on him. The one scouting report that I trust the most, Matt Waldman, is not real high on Fields. So, but if if Allen, if I felt like I needed a stronger receiver upside, I would have gone Fields there instead of Allen.
Yeah, Fields is he ran really slowly at the combine. I was kind of a surprise. So yeah, I think that I think that he'll decline. I think that he might fall in the draft as lower. But I got confused between the quarterback and the receiver from North Dakota State. I was talking about the quarterback, Peyton, not the receiver. So sorry for the confusion. I took George Holani in the last round because it sounds like Kenneth Walker's going to leave, and that yeah, right. A Super Bowl MVP just leaves. I mean, it's happened before, but so Walker's gone. They have Charbonnet, but he's coming off the torn ACL that he suffered in January. And then there's George Holani, right? So maybe he's the starter now. Again, like maybe the Seahawks draft the running back. They probably do, right? So
yeah, I'd be shocked if they don't draft her. They don't spend an earlier round pick,
right?
Top 3 rounds at least. I'd be shocked if they don't. Yeah,
me too. But I said the same thing about the Cowboys a couple years ago. Remember, like we all expected them to draft the running back. They didn't, and suddenly they had Javonte Williams last year, and then before that was Rico Doodle like starting for them. Like there's a world in which Holani is the starting running back for the Seahawks in week 1. So it's taking a shot there, but that, like your pick, that could be killed by what happens in free agency in the draft, and we don't know what's going to happen yet. It's still way too early. That's why it's called the early bird. But everyone's at the same disadvantage here, so it's not like if you were playing against people with the foreknowledge of what's going to happen, like you're basically lighting money on fire. But no one knows what's going on here. It's all degenerates drafting in March, which is so much fun, and there's $250,000 at stake here. So yeah. Anyway, my draft not like particularly in love with this. There were some instances where I wanted some guys and they got taken off the board. Overall, though, I'm not too down on this, especially given that I was drafting another draft at the same time. How do you think you did with this draft?
Yeah, pull up this. Yeah, not the best team I've drafted. I do wonder. There are a couple spots where I wonder, like, would I have been better off flip-flopping receiver and running back there? But it's close. I think you can make an argument either way. I did maybe wait on running back or on quarterback a little bit. There were a couple guys available, maybe a round or two earlier. There were a couple other guys available that might have been a better fit. But again, I think it's close. I've got some upside on this team. I've got some picks that could be total absolute waste. CJ Stroud could end up being a total waste. If that offense is plateaued again or declined, or somehow he had this great rookie year and he just seemingly has regressed each year since then. Yeah. If that trend continues, that'll be terrible. The Franklin pick could be terrible. The Aaron Jones pick could be terrible. Isaiah Pacheco could be terrible. Jaden Blue could be terrible. Allen, basically 7 of my last 8 picks could be absolutely dead on arrival by May. So based on what happens in the draft and free agency. But yeah, I think overall I feel good about I've got really high floor. I don't think this is a really high upside team, which actually is not ideal for this format. You want a high upside team. Yeah. I think I've got a team that's got a high floor. Okay. So that's actually coming in third place is useless in this format.
Yeah, right? That's the worst thing that can happen because you're going to be invested in it, but then nothing happens and you lose money.
Yeah. So I think this team has a really good shot to do nothing, but be a good nothing team, right?
Yeah. Well, maybe with the higher floor, maybe you'll get second place, which advances you to the quarterfinals. So that you can at least make $5 on that. You get 15, you spend 10, so you come out plus 5. Interesting that we both went Ellie 3773, which I prefer. 3683 is fine too. I would suggest one of those. This guy Sheen Machine took 4 tight ends, even though he took Bowers and Loveland. 208 and 408. That's pretty rough. His running backs are Montgomery and Tootin. Actually, I kind of like Tootin because ATM might leave, but still. And then who are his other tight ends? Mark Andrews and George Kittle. Like, what are you doing? what is going on with this? There's at least one guy in his first 9 picks who will never start. Actually two, because he took 2 quarterbacks at 505 and 808. So that's gonna be pretty bad. And this guy took.
And I don't like Tootin. I mean, everything I've read about the guys, the beat reporters and the guys out of Jacksonville just seemed like the team was really disappointed in his inability to insert himself last year. The team seems down on him. So, of course, things can change. Etienne's going to walk. So, I would say it gives him opportunity.
Yeah, they shouldn't have traded Bigsby. They could have him still.
I'll never understand that trade. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. This guy took 2 quarterbacks only. So good luck with their bye weeks, I guess. If they the same bye week, if you get 0 there. Daniels and Prescott, 2 good ones, but first of all, Daniels gets hurt a lot. So it could just be Prescott for him, which would be
only 2 tight ends as well.
These tight ends, he took 9 receivers. Maybe instead of your 9th receiver, maybe take a third quarterback. That's my suggestion. Although I do like Flournoy, but still, maybe instead of Ridley, who's like I said, it's this corpse out there. All right, let's. Do you want to look at my first draft? And
let's do it.
Okay, so you can grade this. And
you got to grade it on a curve because you were drafting 2 at a time. So that does.
I know it's pretty tough. Anyway, so the first 2 picks, they were Genty and Hampton. And then I went Jamison Williams and Scadabo. So with Williams, same thing with the Lions. The Lions schedule this year is so easy. It's absurd. I want to kind of emphasize it again. Like we don't know quite how good or bad these teams will be, but we have a good idea of some of these teams and how bad they're going to be. So this is their schedule. Now they play the NFC North twice each. Those are tough games. And then they play the Bills. Outside of that, they play the NFC South, so Falcons, Saints, Bucks, and Panthers. They play the AFC East, so like I said, Bills, but they also have the Jets and the Dolphins, Patriots too, but that's at home. And then their 3 special games are Cardinals, Titans, and Giants. So this is a very easy schedule. It looks like I'd be shocked if it turns out to be a tough schedule. Maybe it's an average schedule at the end of it, but I think it's going to be an easy schedule. So that's one factor here. The other one is that I mentioned this before to you maybe like a few weeks ago. Jameson Williams, when the previous coordinator Johnny Morton was let go, or he lost his position. That happened starting week 10. So week 10, look at these fantasy numbers. 26.9, 19.7. There was a 0 there. Nothing really happened there, but 29.9, 17.3, 29.4, 12, 5.7, and 13.4. He really took off in the second half of the year, where first half of the year he did nothing. I think that could be a sign of things to come for him. And so I like Jameson Williams, easy schedule plus more opportunities for him. That's Cam Scadabo. We took him last time. Parker Washington took last time. Took Christian Watson here. This is more upside than floor, but if he stays healthy, that's going to be huge. Trevor Lawrence to pair with Washington. Then took Monangai. Once again, it took Tyler Shuck. Like I said, he's my secret quarterback in the 9 to 10 round range. And then I actually forgot that I only had 2 quarterbacks. And so I had to take Kirk Cousins at the end, 19-12. I took Pittman, 10-01, who you took earlier than that. I mean, I was shocked that he was there. Concepcion I took again. Debo, I think, he's not that old. I feel he's going to be bounced back next year. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but Daniels barely played last year. Debo looked good when Daniels was on the field. He had some big games early on, especially when Daniels was healthy. Like he had a 22 here in week 1, a 20, a 23, a 20. So like the upside's there, but most of this was with Mariota. So I think that he could bounce back. My 3 tight ends were Barner, Theo Johnson, Hawkinson, Trey Harris I took as the upside receiver at the Chargers. Keenan Allen, I assume, is going to be gone. That's a Claiborne, Manuel Wilson, and Jalen Wright. If there's some buzz that HN could be traded, I'm not buying it, but just in case.
Really, it's an injury play. If HN were to get injured, Jalen Wright is instantly a great asset for your team.
Yeah. Yeah. So how would you grade this?
Brian Robinson's another guy in that category.
Yeah. Well, I think he's a free agent. So if he resigns, then yeah. If he leaves, maybe we take Garendo a lot again and then cry when they bring in someone else. What do you make of my team here? And remember, I was drafting at the same time, and I forgot I only had 2 quarterbacks.
I just think there's some guys we're going to disagree on the evaluation. Like I'm not a fan of Washington. I just watch him play. I'm just not sure. I think he's the 4th best receiver on that team right now, just talent wise. So I'm not sure how that's going to shake out.
Who's 3rd? Thomas,
Brian Thomas, Travis Hunter, and
Hunter,
and no, obviously we don't know how much actual receiver he's going to play, if any. That becomes a big question mark. And if Washington is actually,
sorry, Rufus, they who knows? They could have been lying, but they came out and said that they're going to play him a lot of corner next year. But we'll see.
So he feels like they gave up a bunch of draft capital for a cornerback. That's like it's good, but he's a good cornerback. But doesn't seem like the wisest use of draft capital.
No.
But if Washington ends up being really good, and he ends up being at least their 2nd best receiver, maybe their best receiver, then obviously they're not going to need Hunter to play on the offensive side. So, Watson I think is a big question mark. Like I just never know what to make of Christian Watson. I feel like every year I don't know how to. Like last year he was being drafted in best ball drafts in the summer and like round 19 and 20 or going even undrafted a bunch. Yep. So I actually had him in there's a few leagues where I drafted Jordan Love and Romeo Doubs and Dontavian Wicks. Wicks was actually one of my highest drafted players last year. Funny enough, that turned out terrible. But in some of the leagues where I drafted Jordan Love, I actually did draft Christian Watson in the 20th round just as a flyer. And he actually being productive with some of those rosters, which was not at all what I expected. So I just never know what to make of him, man. I don't know how to rate. I don't know how to rate him. I don't know how to rate the receivers in Green Bay either. I don't know how good is Golden going to be. I don't know if Dobbs is going to be back. I don't know how good Jordan Love's going to be. I just feel like there's a lot of question marks in that offense that we could look back a year from now and be like, oh my gosh, Christian Watson, like how is he not being drafted in the 3rd round of fantasy drafts? Or I also think there's a very legitimate world where we look back and be like, why was he being drafted at all? I mean, I don't know what I feel that way about all of the Packer receivers. Like I have no idea how to rate them. I have them ranked, but I just feel like I have no confidence in my rankings for any of them. And every time I'm on the board where a Packers receiver is the best player available, I end up skipping him. So like I have them ranked, but I don't actually know that I actually have them ranked because I'm like, I'm just going to skip over you, get the 2nd best player on my board because I don't know. I feel that way about almost about the entire Packer receiving core, and I feel the way about Jordan Love. Oddly enough, I love Jacobs, so I don't feel that way about Josh Jacobs, but I just feel that way about the entire offense. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of them. I think there's going to be great value potential on that roster. I just don't know who it is.
Yeah. With Watson, I'm looking. Well, you have to worry about the injuries, obviously, but looking at the production when he came back, and keep in mind he's coming off the torn ACL, so he was not like fully healthy, and he had 4 games in which he had 18.3 or higher, a 24.9 and a 25.3, and he didn't play until week 8. So I just feel like he has so much upside, but he also has this like very low floor too. So it's a tough evaluation. I feel like you need to have some of him just because like what if he goes nuclear? But he's not someone you should draft a lot either, just because there's like I said, a very low floor in him.
Yeah.
Okay. So anything else? What are your thoughts on Debo? 12th round.
Yeah, I like Debo. I don't know. I don't know what to make of him either. It just feels like was the offense just that dysfunctional last year? With the injuries, or was Debo decline, or is it a combination of the two? It feels hard to know. Excuse me. I didn't get to the mute button in time.
There you go.
I got it that time. There we go. I think it's hard to know what to make the Debo. 12th round's fine. I think there's a crew of guys that are just like, I just don't know what to make of them. I don't know where to put them. And so I find myself only drafting them when they just fall. So you get to round 14 and Debo's still on the board. It's just like it feels criminal not to take him. It's like I guess you could even feel that way in round 12. But yeah, it feels hard to know what to do with him.
Yeah, I feel the same way, but it's like it's almost like Alvin Kamara as well in like round 13. You're like, how do I not take this guy? But you have to like recognize that there's like a slim chance that he may not be on the roster if the Saints draft a running back. They could draft Jeremiah Love at 8, and then it's like, oh man, this sucks. But even if they do, maybe they treat it like when Kamara was a rookie and they had Mark Ingram there, and like I don't, even if they take Love at 8, I don't think they give him the ball every down. It's coaches don't like to do that with rookie running backs.
I mean, we've seen it over and over again. I mean, to me, if they were to do that, Kamara's draft stock in fantasy drafts would plummet, and I would be scooping him up in every league probably. I mean, just like I would say. I think just in general it happens. This roster you have really is an ideal best ball type roster because there's a lot of high variance here.
Yeah.
But we don't know. Like you mentioned it, you're like, I think the Lions are going to easy schedule, but like I don't know. We don't know for sure. We think we know things, and we know for sure, and then we get to the end of the year, we're like, that was crazy. So it's like, oh my gosh, who would have thought Jeremiah, that Jalen Wright was going to be the 4th best running back in fantasy? You know what I mean? It's just like, TJ Hawkinson was tight end number 1 because we find out Jaden McCarthy can actually play, and he loves throwing to the tight end, and he has 12 touchdowns. You know what I mean? Like, just like Dallas Goedert last year. I drafted Dallas Goedert was my most drafted tight end in best ball drafts last year. I was drafting him in round, at the earliest round 11, and in most weeks I was getting around 13, round 14. He led the league in red zone touchdowns, like or amongst pass catchers. So it's like I don't know, man. There's so much high variance, but I think this team you've drafted is a very high variance team, which like that's what you want in this. Like you want to shoot the moon, and there's like being in 3rd place is useless.
Yeah.
Right. Where in a home league, in a standard fantasy league, being 3rd place still yields me money, still yields me reward. Like,
sure.
In this format, 3rd place is totally useless. Like, you have to be 1st or 2nd to move on. And so, yeah, I think keeping that in mind when you're drafting in best ball is really important.
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot different than drafting regular. Like you have to make sure that you have a lot of upside and you give yourself a chance to win the top prize, which is $250,000. Like even if you make it to the 2nd round and you don't have the upside, like that's you get $15, you get $5 profit. It's like, okay, that's cool, but it's not really worth your time. If you think about it.
We're not playing to make $5 here.
I know, because this draft took like about 50 minutes to an hour. That's like $5 an hour basically that you're making, and you're not even guaranteed to get it. So it's not something you should do. You should be able to try to get the best team possible, give yourself a lot of upside, and like you said, I mean, I think that this team has a lot of upside. Jameson Williams, he could have insane performances. We saw that with Scatabo last year. We saw Parker Washington late in the year. Like look at this: 26-9, 19-7, 22-29. If Thomas is traded, I think he's well worth that pick. Watson, Monangai, if he takes the starting job. Pittman doesn't have as high as a floor, but you need some like low floor guys. Concepcion could go nuts as a rookie. Debo, we'll see about him. Harris, I think that if Keenan Allen leaves, like suddenly he's going to look pretty good. So, especially if the Chargers fix their line and will basically keep their tackles healthy. So, and then Claiborne. So, just high upside guys. Don't take guys with like very low floors. You can take a couple of them. I don't think you draft all high upside guys. I just think you can have like just make sure you get points. I think that's a mistake I've made in the past. If you take all high upside guys, like you have to give yourself a chance to at least like have some decent weeks, because you take a high upside guys. Yeah, you're gonna have some monster weeks. You're also gonna have weeks where like anyone's like your players barely score anything, you know. So I think like a good mix of that is how you should approach best ball. But we have a long way to go until we find out what's really going on, and that's even before the season starts. We have a couple comments before we head out. We have Drew asking or saying, honestly, I'd have to imagine Detroit's going to bring in a Tyler Algier or draft the power back in the middle rounds. No shot they let Gibbs just become a workhorse. I agree with that. I think that they're going to bring in someone, but as we saw late last year, they still had Montgomery, and Gibbs was handling the workload. Let me bring up the stats just so you know I'm not making things up out of thin air. Montgomery. So look at the first half of the year when Johnny Morton was still the coordinator. So he had 11 carries, 11, 12, 9, 18. He had a 4 year against the Chiefs that they were trailing that whole game. And then 13-11. Now, he had a 15 here, but that was a blowout. So he kept getting a lot late. So this was the game where Johnny Morton was basically fired. Look at this. 6, 5, 8, 6, 7, 4, 10, 8. So Gibbs really took off here. And let me show you Gibbs's carries as we look at the second half versus the first half. So he had 9, 12, 22, 15, 12, 17, 17, 9, and then 15. And then late in the year, he had 12, 15, 20, 12, 13, 17, 19, more catches too. He had 10 receptions here, 7 receptions, 11 receptions here. You know, so he was getting more production late in the year, and Montgomery's production declined just because Dan Campbell's like, we need to get the ball to Gibbs more. So I already like that's why I would take Gibbs RB1. That's like one of the reasons, you know. So he says, I believe you on the stats wall just for the first 14 weeks of the season. Gives another power and gives another back. Just have to be in a split back committee. Still drafting Gibbs 10 out of 10 though. Yeah, especially with the perceived ECC schedule. But yeah, even if they bring in Algier, I think you're going to see what Montgomery did late in the year instead of what happened earlier in the year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it matters if they bring someone in or not. I'm still drafting Gibbs. That don't bother me. Yeah. In fact, there's even an argument to be made that if they had a second guy there, it's actually better for Gibbs's health. Right? Like if Gibbs is the only guy there and he's getting the workload, he's getting, tons and tons of work, like the injury risk for him is higher. And so, yeah, I actually love it. And I would be no concern. I actually part of me is actually rooting for them to sign a Tyler Algier type, because I think that would depress his draft stock a little bit. Yeah, right. I think people get depressed about that, and then he'll fall. I think that would even be better. So, yeah. I think sometimes we overthink things. Like Gibbs is a great player. Don't be afraid to draft him.
I would love to get him at like 105, 106. That'd be like the dream, I actually got him at I did a draft last night. I got him at 102, but Bijan wasn't the first player taken. It was Jack Smith and Jigba. And so I took Gibbs at 102, and the guy who's drafting 3 is like, wow, how'd Bijan get here? Probably. But no, I agree. I would love to see that happen. Kim Eagle says Bears Pro Bowl center Dahlman has told the Bears he retire at 27. Yeah, I mean, we've seen some early retirements before.
It's wild.
It's not unprecedented. I kind of hope everything's all right there. Medically, you never know like what he's going through. So that does suck. He was great last year for the Bears. They brought in Tyler Biadasz today to maybe replace him. We'll see. Biadasz obviously not as good, but he's not terrible either. He's okay. So it's a good draft class for centers. So if this were to happen, it's better that it happens in this impending draft class than one that doesn't have good centers. So the Bears can sign Biadasz and then take a center in like round 2 or round 3, and I think they'll be okay.
Honestly, I was thinking about this. I'm actually surprised that the early retirements don't happen more often.
Yeah, right.
I mean, there's a talk. This offseason there was talk about Landon Dickerson. all pro caliber left guard for the Eagles. He's been talking about retiring. He's had tons of injuries dating back to high school. He's had just high school, in college at Alabama. He had several major injuries. He's basically had significant injuries every year of his NFL career over the last 5 seasons. But he plays through them. He's a tough guy. Like he rarely misses games. And he still plays at a very, very high level. But he's 27, and like it wouldn't surprise me. Like if you're that guy, if you're the guy that's like, listen, I've made $30 million, I've played 5 years in the NFL. I've got like serious herniated disc or back problems. Like F this. What do I need this? Like I already got the money. I've already won a championship. I've already won, like, maybe in Dolman's case, he hasn't won. Maybe winning would be something like, but I'm surprised more players don't just say like, you know what, like I don't want to deal with this on my body, this wear and tear on my body anymore. I remember Robert Smith, the running back in the 90s for the Vikings. Oh, yeah. He played not many years, like maybe 6 or 7 years, and this was like, okay, I'm out. This is too much. I think he went to med school. I read. Greg Jennings also. So like Patrick Willis. Who was the
Patrick Willis? Yeah.
Yeah, Patrick Willis. Yeah. There's been guys over the careers just they've said like they play a couple years and they're just like the wear and tear on your body is just. I mean, Andrew Luck is obviously a famous example of that. Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson. Barry Sanders is the one that's still like just crazy, right?
Yeah, I know.
So, played 9 years, but still arguably the best running back in the game, arguably the best player in the game when he was so retired. I just think there's some guys where you just go like, this is just. I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often. So it's like I saw this today on Twitter, on X, and will forever be Twitter to me. But I saw this today on Twitter, and I'm like, man, what a surprise! And then I was like, it's a surprise that it's a surprise. You would expect to have more guys retire, but it just goes to show that some guys just there's a competitive edge that just drives you to keep doing it. That, and I guess it's easy for me to say, oh, 30 million is enough money when you have the chance to make 100 million.
Yeah. You have to remember that these guys will never see this sort of money again. And if like a lot of their money is going toward their friends and their family, you buy your mom a house, you buy your dad a car, your agent gets a cut, your sister does to go to college, you pay for that. Like eventually you run out of your money and you're like, oh, my next contract's coming up. But then like, what if you don't get the contract? What if you get hurt? It's so I get it from that, and there's a reason why 4 out of 5 NFL players go bankrupt 5 years after they're done playing. They just
that's crazy.
They live this lifestyle and they don't consider the future, where like they don't get any money. It's a famous video of Dwayne Haskins, the late Dwayne Haskins, the quarterback for the Redskins. Where he was talking about how much money he spent as a rookie, and he was like he read off a list of like all of his expenses, and he's like, yeah, the team went out, I'm a rookie, they made me buy drinks, it was like $30,000. Is like I bought all this clothes, like this cost that much money, my agent got this, I bought a house for my mom, bought this, like he listed, he's like I barely have any money left over. And that's what happens. And like, if the player like Haskins or someone like that doesn't get a big second contract because they don't really work out in the first few years, then like you can understand why they would go bankrupt. It is pretty crazy.
Yeah. Troy Vincent has been talking about this recently. He's the NFLPA rep president now, or whatever, or not, or NFL, whatever his title is. Anyway, works for the NFL. He's implemented a kind of basically like a mentorship program for players coming in, and he was being interviewed a few months ago on NFL Network, and he was talking about some of the changes they made, and it seems like they've made some legitimate progress in like helping younger players come in, particularly like younger players. You get these 21-year-old guys. A lot of guys are from the hood. They're from families that don't have any money, don't have any resources. They have no understanding of how to take care of capital. That happens a lot, right? Most of these guys are coming from impoverished backgrounds. There's certainly exceptions. That's the reality for a lot of these guys. Like, and so, we see that all the time. Like people who win the lottery, like high percentage of people who win the lottery go bankrupt within a couple of years.
Yeah.
Because it's like you get this huge influx of money and you don't know how to manage it. You don't know how to actually build wealth. You're as Chris Rock once said, you live rich, not wealthy, and that leads to disaster. So learning how to take your riches and turn it into wealth. Chris Rock told some jokes about that many years ago. He talked about how he's like how poor black people get rich and they buy rims. And he's like white people get rich and they turn it into wealth. They buy Walmarts and they help other people get rich.
Right.
So it's a Chris Rock joke. You can look it up. It's funny.
That's yeah. I think I heard those jokes. Too many games played for such a violent sport that starts many in middle school. Yeah. You take enough hits to the head, like bad things will happen. And hopefully medical advancements are made where like now, like I was I think I mentioned on the show before. I watched Brian's song because I was on a movie show podcast or not movie show, a movie podcast heading into the Super Bowl, and they wanted to do a football movie, so they asked me to come on, and I talked about Brian's song, and in Brian's song, obviously it's real players. Gale Sayers, he tore his ACL in his second year, and like he thought his career would be over. Like that's how right. Things have changed. Like Mahomes tore his ACL. He's trying to come back in 9 months to start week 1. Like think about how different that is. Now, like what if in the future, that was the 60s. So obviously it's 6 years is a long time. But like what if in the year 2080, if that guy suffers, hey, what's wrong? He's suffering concussion. Okay, let me beep. Okay, you're fine. Yeah, it's like it never happened. Like hopefully make advancements in that regard. And they have those crazy helmets too. They look ugly, but they work. And I kind of wonder why isn't everyone wearing those helmets? Like I know they're not aesthetically appealing, but talking. I'm a guy who runs a website that looks like a GeoCity site, so I'm not into aesthetics. So.
How many people watching this know what GeoCities is?
I'm sure. I don't know. I feel like there's a decent amount who know. You can look it up if you don't. GeoCity. Remember, used to have the GIFs. Remember, no one has seen this, but my original website had Brett Favre, a GIF of Brett Favre throwing to Mark Shimura. It was just throw a touchdown, throw a touchdown. It was so ugly. I should find that. I don't know.
You gotta bring it back.
Well, the thing is, so in 04, when the site used to be called centralhigh.net/wcharp/football.html, that's where I had all my finals. And one guy, the web administrator of our high school, deleted my site, and I'm like, what happened? He's like, because they had gambling content, we couldn't put it on the high school site. I'm like, I understand that, but could you give me a 24-hour heads up so I could save all my files? And so that GIF is erased because he erased it. I would have kept it somehow. So I don't know where I could find that. I have no idea where.
Oh man,
yeah, it was a classic. It was that looked like pure GeoCities, but that's what it was back then. So that's
I will. Let me see. We got to pull back. We got to pull up a Wayback Machine of Walter Football and see. I don't know.
But it was you'd have to look at that specific URL, and before WCharp there's that squiggly line too. So
the tilde.
The tilde, that's what it is. It's crazy how things have changed. So yeah, that's why I contacted you. I'm like, hey, I need web hosting, and then you've been my web host ever since 04.
20 years later.
Yeah, it's crazy. 22 years. That's insane.
Oh man, what a crazy you gotta love it.
I was so pissed that he deleted the site. I'm like 24 hours. Just give me 24 hours or 12 hours. Give me a heads up so I can save the files. And I wish I had my original files, but I don't. Anyway, Dahlman was to Stanford, so he knows a lot of smart people who'd be fine. I'm sure he'll be okay. So we read that one. What are your thoughts on Colston Loveland this year? I feel like as if he's severely overrated. He was a monster at the end of last year. So I don't know if DJ Moore leaves, that'll only help him, right? I like Loveland. I feel like where's he going? Where'd he go in this draft? He went 409. I think that's about well. I say that's about right, but I don't like taking tight ends early. But if you do take tight ends early, I think land around 4 is okay. I just wouldn't do it.
That's the cap. Yeah, that's the caveat. Like that, I'm the guy that doesn't want to take a tight end before round 15 in standard typical drafts, or 12, and in best ball, like the earliest I'm looking at a tight end is like 10 or 9. So it's like, I'm not the guy to ask, right? Like Colson Loveland looked really good. He looked like a monster down the stretch. He looked like he could do everything you want a tight end to do. I just don't care. Like that. That's just how it's hard for me. I'm the wrong guy to ask, right?
Yeah, I am too, to an extent. I don't know. I mean, playoff best ball. Obviously, you're taking these guys earlier, but in this best ball, I just wouldn't do 4th round for Loveland. I do like him. But in comparison to McBride and Bowers, if they go 2nd round, it makes sense that Loveland would go 4th round. But again, I wouldn't draft them there. And then cap is fake. That was my thought process about Gibbs' health. Gibbs is a smaller running back. I just don't see Dan Campbell using him like Mike McDaniel used Achane. Well, he did use him.
I think it's actually smart to pair him with somebody.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, like we both said, like hopefully that lowers his ADP a little bit. I'm not super confident that'll happen, but
you're not getting him at the bottom of the 1st round.
No. But if you can get him like 105, you're drafting now at 105, you're getting what? JSN. If you like Taylor still, Bijan went 104 here. How'd that happen? Usually it's like Jamar Chase around there. But if you can get Gibbs at 105, I think that's the steal, I think. And then I was thinking Loveland might be good in round 6 or 7. My concern is Cale Williams' inaccuracy. Well, it's intermediate passes, so it's like not as bad as a deep threat. But round I don't think you're going to get him around 6 or 7. I think he's probably going to go round 4-ish, round 5, kind of like where George Kittle went last year.
So I'm never going to get him.
Yeah, George Kittle was the 3rd tight end last year. 3rd tight end this year's Loveland, same area or so. So yeah, I'm not getting him. It would have to be very weird circumstances for me to get him. Like if every player just went off and like the players I didn't like are still there at the receiver, running back, then I guess I would take him. It wouldn't be impossible for me to not do that, but it's very unlikely that I would ever get Loveland. Yeah. Anything else before we head out? We're about I know it's almost 1, and I know you're tired and stuff. So, and I'm tired too.
Ready for bed.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll not be back tomorrow. I have a medical procedure on Thursday morning. It is a. You sound intrigued.
You're getting your circumcision finally.
Finally, I had it before. What are you talking about? No, I'm. I have a colonoscopy scheduled on Thursday morning.
Oh gosh, it's that time. Oh, we're the same age. I guess I should be doing that soon.
Yeah. So they say 45 should be like this the benchmark when you should start, and where that's like a year and a half away. But my doctor said I should get it. So it's on Thursday morning. And so Wednesday I'll be taking the laxatives around 4 and 6 o'clock. So if I tried to do a show, I'd be in and out of the bathroom right behind this door.
Excellent.
Bathroom.
Excellent.
I'd be in and out of the bathroom. It'd be a disaster of a show. So I already told Andy no show tomorrow. And actually it was funny when I told Andy I was having a colonoscopy. He's like, ha ha ha. He laughed because he actually had one in December. So he was telling me about it, and so I can't wait to eat good food again. I've been having just plain food. I like mashed potatoes, but like a lot of mashed potatoes, a lot of chicken. No cereal. I haven't had cereal in a while. Just like toast and turkey and stuff like that. Tomorrow it's all liquid diet. Like there's no solid foods at all. So I have chicken broth and apple juice. This may look like beer, but this is apple juice. So I'll be drinking a lot of that tomorrow. So could be a lot of fun.
Fantastic.
Moving computers to the bathroom, lots of pots. Yes. I could, you know what? I could live stream without visuals, unless you guys really want to see it. Because I do most of my drafting in the bathroom. So when I'm in the bathroom, I'm going to be drafting best ball. If you guys want to join me, I'll be doing a lot of drafting. But you might hear some bad stuff too. So you guys, I don't know. I think it's better that we don't have a show Wednesday. So assuming I'm fine on Thursday, we'll have a show Thursday. I can't imagine. I'll be tired, but I'll still do a show Thursday. And we'll see. I think Evan said he's going to come on, so he's going to want to do a March Madness preview especially for like live betting, and maybe I can't promise this. Maybe I'll reach out to Andy too. Maybe we'll have like a three-man show, and like Andy could talk about futures for NCAA tournament, and Evan could talk about live betting it. So I think that would be like two good ways to attack betting for the March Madness, which is coming up soon. So. All right, well, yeah. Anyway, that's it. That's what I'm going through. So, cross your fingers for me, and please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit walterfootball.com for tons of content. Kenny, loved talking to you. You being the last co-host I talked to before my procedure. So, thank you for joining me.
Before you turn gay.
I'll be asleep for it. Does it count?
That's what they all say.
All right, guys. Hope you have a great night. I will talk to you on Thursday.
Good luck.